They Say What They Can't Radio.
Welcome to SoulShare, a conversation focused on love, intimacy, vulnerability, and emotional intelligence. This is a different kind of relationship dialogue for those who want to make the shift from the ego-driven to more intimate, spirit-nurturing partnerships that satisfy. Because that's what Black love is. Black love is powerful. Black love is soulful. Black love is a love that you can feel. Give thanks. Greetings. I am Sesheta Khepra, the Intimacy Junkie, and welcome to SoulShare. So today, I have my wonderful co-host, Anjy,
Stephanie.
and today, our topic is going to be Black women and vulnerability, mental and emotional health. So, are y'all ladies comfortable having that discussion?
Very comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
Okay, good. Okay, so I found this, it appeared in my timeline. You know, it is so funny that things appear in your timeline as you're thinking about it and you're feeling it. And this appeared into my timeline, and it was a quote from, I guess, an influencer on Instagram, Chris the Lioness. And the quote is, "We all just crave to be loved and accepted as we are. We want to be free, be our most authentic selves, express ourselves without shame and without fear of being judged. We want to be women, enjoying ourselves within our perfectly imperfect bodies that are always good enough no matter their shape. We don't want to hide anymore. We don't want to be small anymore. We don't want to put up such a show to be perfect and flawless anymore. We don't want to feel insecure anymore and afraid to be vulnerable. We don't want to envy our sisters anymore. We want to feel the essence of sisterhood. We want to hold each other and be held, knowing that we are safe and loved and accepted. All the external things like looks and material possessions, etc., are not as important anymore when women discover the light that has always been within them." Like, how does that make you feel?
So I have. Why can't looks be important to me? On a side, when we were just discussing, like for me, I want to have liposuction, not for anybody else, because I feel there are areas that even with exercise, eating right, there's still areas that I don't like for myself. But if I tell someone, yeah, I want to go have liposuction, automatic judgment comes on. And I'm like, why are you judging me? Because I feel I want this area to be removed. So, and it's always like, oh, you should be happy with what God gave you, and why are you going to do that? It's me, it's my body. I'm not doing it to make a man feel like he's better, like he has some. No, it's my choice. It's me. It's what I want to do. And they're like, well, that's the psychological impact of how society has played in your life. And this, if, all these Instagram models weren't out here getting liposuction and big butts, you wouldn't want to do that. No.
Who's saying these things?
This is like different conversations
that
with
like
people.
Really general. That's what
This is why I don't like social media, because you'll have a bunch of people making those type of comments, and then it'll be people who's doing other types of enhancements, doing other types of things. You know what I mean?
But it makes you feel bad, like I shouldn't be doing this.
And do you? I don't get that from this.
Like
quote.
How could, because he was just like, well, you should be happy with.
Oh, it's a he.
Oh, he. Sorry.
Once you share it, then
Yeah.
then
Oh,
you're opening yourself
Oh,
up to.
and it's always the he's, the ones that's, that dye their beards and they dye their hair, but yet they, talking about natural. And then with this pandemic, when people couldn't go to their barbers, all of a sudden you see who has so much gray hairs and you see what people in their natural state look like. And it's just like, wait a minute, you're talking about women who are blonde and you're talking about women who are doing this. Meanwhile, you're there with dyeing your beard. It's like, bruh.
Yeah. He's like, you should be happy in your natural state, and you'll feel free once you realize.
I think people do that because they think that when you say that your confidence is low, and sometimes they're saying that to boost your confidence. Like, you're beautiful the way you are, and
Yeah, and you know what? There's throughout history, women, men, people, they enhance their beauty all different kinds of ways. There's nothing wrong with honoring your beauty. So don't get it twisted. And like I said, I don't think that that's what this quote is saying. I just think they're saying that they want you to be able to do that without being judged, no matter
feeling
how,
judged or feeling
right,
subjected to their
right. Like,
criticism.
yeah, like why should someone judge you for whatever choices that you make? And I don't have a problem with anybody doing anything that make sure that's not all that it's about is just looks. Make sure that you're a complete and total package and you're whole. And if you choose that that's what you want to focus on, that's okay too. So everybody should have a right to be exactly who they are. But they need to understand if that's what they are and do it for the right reasons.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's my choice. I shouldn't have to feel bad because I made a personal choice that does not really affect anybody else but me.
When you're sharing it, they feel like you're giving them they're helping you weigh the pros and cons. So they're gonna give you that side of it too.
Like, you're just doing that to floss for the grant.
Oh,
Aside from this right now, nobody would ever know that I would have done that.
Right.
No, nobody would ever know.
That comes now. That's their insecurity speaking.
Yeah,
because they don't want you to get to a certain.
And look good.
Now because
they'll feel away if you're looking good and they're not looking as good as you. But
and they don't want anybody looking at you in that way. So if you do this, who's gonna see it?
That's almost like saying, don't go to the gym if, you know what I mean, if you were meant to have a six pack, then you would have a six pack without going to the gym and just allow yourself to be just whatever you turn into. Like, no, do whatever you got to do and feel good about it,
I say, as long as it's done safely.
Exactly. Do your research.
Yeah.
Do your research.
And that's another thing. I'm sure that you did a whole bunch of it before you even came out to tell anybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody goes through that too, as far as being, vulnerable, leaving yourself open to criticism, etc. You always have to. It's always you're not like walking on clouds, but you always want to make sure that you put all your eggs in all the baskets, so that you'll know how to. It's you're testing yourself also.
Yeah. I think it's also about the intentions behind it. You know what I mean? Just because you're doing that doesn't mean that you're doing it because you are flossing for the gram or anything. He should have asked you.
It wasn't a he. It was she.
What is your intentions?
Yes.
And what?
That's their insecurity.
Yeah.
Then
I haven't told any male that I want to do
them.
Oh,
they might
okay.
feel
I thought you said he. I thought you said he. Okay.
I haven't told any males that I want to do
But
this.
the girls get insecure too, and girls, they don't want to lose their friend to this popularity if they feel like
the amount of people that are having enhancements and things done. It's almost like kind of like a status symbol. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's just like some people just do it just to say that I can afford to do it or whatever. It's not even. It's getting to the point where I don't even know if it's that noteworthy anymore.
Right, because it's done so,
So
often,
often.
and
Yeah.
how what's this the margin of error is much less now. It's safer.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's almost like, dyeing your hair and doing things. It's like now people just, okay, I'm going to get my breasts done. Oh, okay, I'm going to get a tummy tuck, Okay, I'm going to get a haircut. That's where we are now. But it seems like, people are just making it a little bit more than what it is. Not saying that that element isn't there as well, but that's not always the case. You can't assign that to people's intentions and say that, oh, they're insecure or any of those things. You can't assign that. Just ask, like what's your motivation? Why do you want to do this? And if it's a friend, then you support them, and their decisions, to do that. But
That's
yeah. So when do you think?
Probably won't be till next year sometime, but
And what exactly are you looking into?
I'm just doing a 360 lipo.
I don't even know what that is.
So basically, they do the front, the sides, and the back. But it's the place that I want to have it done at, they do it under local anesthesia, so you're awake the entire procedure.
Wow.
But they have different ways of doing lipo now too. So it's
Awake the whole
what type
entire
of
time?
lipo is it? Is it the
Yes.
You're
laser?
brave.
No. Well-
Kudos to that bravery because
No, I want to be awake for it
why?
because I want to see it.
Why?
Well, they numbing the whole thing. There's nothing to see.
I
They only
find
gonna
it
be going like-
fascinating. Like I'll watch all the videos, and I find it so fascinating how they do it. So I want to be awake, and I want to see it. I want to watch.
I hear you. Good for you. Let me know how that works and how that turns out.
I think I would do that too. Like it's my body. I would probably want to see what they do. It's just like having the C-section. Like I didn't want to be out like totally.
Really?
Because after having 6 children, the last baby was a C-section, and it was like I had to still have to feel the connection. I think I don't even remember now what they did. They might have taken me out in the end. Before that, but I didn't want that. I didn't want to be out. Totally.
Right.
So I'm just fascinated. I'm like, I want to see what you're doing.
I barely want local anesthesia for dental work. I mean, I'm a chicken.
For dental work, I'm like, knock me out. Put me out.
Exactly.
Put me out.
So you're really brave. So that leads me into my first question. Do you feel like you're able to be yourself in the presence of other people? Or like after, let's say, that conversation, you feel like now you have to be, or what's the word I'm looking for? You have to censor yourself. And when you talk to other people and you engage other people, and it's like you're not free.
I'm a totally free spirit. I'm a tree hugger. They call me that. I'm very free with my personality. I say what I think. Everything comes out. So and then I engage with people who are that type of people. They're free speakers, and I go in those groups that we could just say anything. So it's important to have a balance of that type of communication, like being able to have people that you can just. You don't have to put up any fronts. And the only place that I think I would have to put up fronts would be work. You have to be compliant. You have to have on a suit. You have to speak a certain way. There's a language. It depends on the company, the brand, blah, blah, blah. But
that takes a toll.
When you're with your friends, you should be able to just be yourself. And if they can't, I'm at the age where if they can't deal with that, sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
I feel depending on the topic. Because one, if they don't really want to hear, if your opinions don't align with them, with theirs on any particular topic, it makes it harder to have that conversation because they're closed off to what you're saying, and which, for me personally, if you're not going to hear me, then I'm going to shut down, you're going to shut down, and there's going to be like especially like with the whole conversation about the liposuction. Now I can't freely talk to you about, oh, I saw this and I saw that, because you're automatically judging me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said it depends on the topic, because certain topics, people automatically judge you.
Yeah, but that's where, like with women, women get heavily judged on their looks. So whether it's by men or by other women, when that subject comes up, there's going to be heavy judgment and scrutiny because people subscribe to certain, I guess, social group think, yeah, and trends and things, yeah, and it's really really unfortunate. And as you and I, we move in the same social circles, and the reason why I asked that question, and you brought it up, where you're in spaces where people are raw and say whatever, and I'm pretty much open and transparent, but we're also in a lot of male dominated spaces. And with that, and even though we can be very open and vocal, it's not really an environment that fosters and allows women to be that way. And you get met with a lot of resistance for being a woman who is vocal and open. And it's like, so you see there are women who are very compliant
Right.
with that.
They'll punish you with by what do they call it when they won't talk to you? They'll isolate you.
Yeah,
Or
or
something.
they'll get very aggressive and and abusive.
Let them go.
We'll speak facts. It can get very aggressive and very abusive because some people don't want to see women, or they don't want to hear women discussing certain things. So now it's like, as a woman, if you want to maneuver in certain male dominated spaces, you have to either be compliant and walk the walk that they want you to walk,
Or be extra aggressive.
right, and come bulldozing through, which is the method I tend to take.
Yeah, right at the throat.
I'm not good with compliant, so I'm not good. I tried. I tried, but it doesn't work for
That
me.
once if I don't like to feel like my expression is like blocked off. I take a job because I like the job. It goes along with my skills, and I should be able to speak up. I remember being at work and saying, and it's like a locker room where I used to work. So it was like being with these guys, and they're like, Anjy, either they tell me either go to sleep, but I'm there studying, and look, I used to love to do the typing and stuff. But my boss, who was a doctor, I came to him and told him that there was something that they're missing, and he's like, where did you get that from? You made it up, kind of thing, and not taking me seriously. Long story short, the head doctor, I brought it up to them at the meeting in front of everybody. Can you please explain to the guys what such and such is, what so and so is? I'm glad you brought that up. And this is that. So everybody was just quiet. So it's like what you said about your friends. It doesn't. You let them know, so they're already gonna mentally prepare themselves. There's no reason that you have to be careful the next time you see them not to be able to express.
Oh, no. It's just you can't bring up that particular topic. You can express yourself, but that particular topic is
You
like,
don't want to hear the judgment anymore.
exactly
Right. Yeah. Because after a while, you just have to protect yourself and your energy. And if you realize that, this is not a place for me, or, this is not a safe space for me to discuss certain topics, then you just realize that, it's time to back out. So, like, there's certain spaces where I had to gracefully exit from, because I said, what, rather than me be the sole woman battling, how many people, and then, then you have, other women who also uphold, their own oppression, within that setting. It's just like, it's just better for me to withdraw myself, because if I can't be respected, in my full authentic self, then that's not a space that
deserves you.
Yeah, that deserves exactly. No, but that's the perfect word. They don't deserve,
Yeah, that is.
my presence and my
Sorry.
energy. So, just do you, and
Yeah.
and then maintain that. And some people are very comfortable. So if I'm the one who is no longer comfortable in that space, I'll just eliminate, myself. But I just, notice that like a lot of time, women have to, make themselves small, and they just have to sometimes even dumb down in certain places and spaces, because nobody likes a smart woman.
Know-it-all.
And yeah, a know-it-all. Because I've been called that many times. I've been called a know-it-all. I've been, told that my personality is larger than life, and they didn't say it in a complimentary way. You know what I mean? And it's
That's
just
out of their
like,
fear.
yeah,
Out of what's going on this year, like all three of us have been like through it with different experiences, and once you've been through it and kind of survived that, you're not gonna take any of that stuff.
Exactly.
It's gonna be like we only live once, and we have to enjoy ourselves and be proud of ourselves and what we're doing, and this is our experience, and we gotta own it.
right, right.
That's it, and try to own it, like, and try to experience it in the fullest sense of the word.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. And I think we need to get to a place where we are comfortable owning who we are, no matter if people are telling you that I've been called rah rah, I've been all of that, and they're like, me rah rah, and it's like,
I've known you way too long to call you rah rah.
and I'm aggressive. My masculine energy is way too high. I'm larger than life.
Beautiful.
And all of this is within the last year. And like you said, this last year, and I think everybody has gone through so much, and it's revealed so much to all of us. And I just realized, you know what? You're gonna have to figure out a coping technique, because you want to see larger than life. Hold this for your ass, and that's where I am right now.
Help you with it, unapologetic. That's this year is
Yeah,
all about
exactly,
being unapologetic. You have to let it out.
exactly. You have to be authentic, and you have to hold yourself accountable for being who you are, and not diminishing yourself. And I even see and this is also why I brought up the topic, because I also saw like Charlemagne the God on social media mentioning Kamala Harris, about her hoping that she'll be able to be her full self in the position, should she become, but yeah, you know what I mean,
Judge.
yeah, you know what I mean. And it's like, because people don't want to see us black women as we are, and people have a problem with black women. Let's say it. Let's just call it out, with black women being unapologetically who they are. Like, look at the resistance that Oprah has been, getting for decades. Just be and it makes people uncomfortable when you show up and you're fully in the moment, you're fully conscious, and you're aware, and it rattles people's spirit.
It does.
And people have a really hard time dealing with that.
Yeah, I had that a lot. The dumbing down thing, I went through that I went through that years ago, and I stopped, because you can't please everyone. You never can please everyone.
And what about the space of relationships? And in that context, if you can't be yourself within your relationship, and you have to dumb down for your partner, and you have to, play that damsel in distress, even though you're fully capable, because he needs to feel needed, and he needs to feel.
Girl,
I'll
I
be
just
alone.
had this conversation with a girlfriend of mine. So she's like, oh yeah, well, I have to go with my man to the doctor. I was like, why is he not able to? Is something wrong? She was like, no, but I need to go with him. But prior to you guys being together, did he not go to the doctor by himself? She was like, yeah, okay. So then another time she was like, oh, well, I'm going to the doctor, so he has to come. Are you two like conjoined? I don't understand. Why do you have to play this role? Like, and I don't mind catering to someone's needs. At the expense that you lose yourself is where I have a problem. Like, she was like, oh, well, he left some checks for me to write out. I was like, woman, is this man not older than you? Yes. Was he not doing this prior to you? Yes. So why do you feel the need to take this role on? Because I don't understand.
See, the only thing that I have an issue with in these type of circumstances is when it becomes like a thing where it's just like, okay, you have to do this, I have to do this because this is what man,
Shit.
woman, that supposed to do. It's just like, what about what has to happen organically? So it's like, okay, it's more convenient for me to do it, so I just do it. Okay, and just let everything fall into
happened.
place organically.
I was just
This,
like, you're losing yourself
yeah.
for someone that, and I have such a problem with that. People like, oh, well, because you like to be by yourself and you want to do everything on yourself or by yourself and you don't want to ever ask for help. It's not that I don't want to ask for help. It's I know I can do this by myself. I don't need you
You're
to
not
do
going to
it
enable
for
the
me.
codependence. You're not going to enable codependence. Because if I'm not here, you want to know that your partner is going to be good if you're not
Like,
there.
you were capable of doing it before me. So what makes me here that you all of a sudden can't do it?
Right.
I can't. It irks the life
You
out
know,
of me.
I get it, you know what I mean, but I'm not gonna front. I don't do man shit. Okay? I don't. I was raised in a Central American household. Women do women shit and man do man shit. You know what I mean? But of course, circumstances and things, may shift because of convenience, me being the primary breadwinner, and, hubby, he was a stay-at-home dad for a long time. So, roles get, shifted, for a lot of reasons. However, I do not do man shit.
Yeah, I hear that.
Okay? I just
But
don't.
I think in different relationships, there might be, they'll make agreements. Maybe they like working with each other like a team, tag team.
Right,
But still,
right.
still, as a team, you still have to make sure that each partner could do all right when you're not there. Also.
Exactly,
I just
exactly.
need you
I
to
agree with
have a
that.
self sense of identity. Like, if
That makes
this
sense.
person's not here, you were a person before this person was
Agreed,
here.
agreed.
So where are you now? I was like, yo, this irks the life out of me. It irks the life. And I guess because they're like, oh, well, you just like to do stuff on your own.
Well, she
Yeah,
wasn't.
I do.
She wasn't happy or.
I do like to do stuff on my own.
So liking to do things on your own, is it because you don't feel like you can trust someone to handle it for you? Since we're speaking about vulnerability, or you don't trust that a partner will be able to step up and do it, because I know that that's also an issue.
Okay.
That if you don't feel like you have a partner who can step
You're
up,
overcompensating.
right? Because and it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna do everything myself. I've been doing everything myself because my history has shown that I hadn't had partners who would step up and taking care of this for me so that I can fall back and relax a little bit.
I mean, for the most part, yes. I haven't had that person where I didn't have to say, do this, do that, do this, do that. Like, certain things I should.
Is your friend's man saying that to her? Like, do this, do
No,
this?
no. Like, for me personally, in relationships, I feel that if you're with someone, certain things shouldn't have to be said. Like, I shouldn't have to. If, for example, if you spend, in my opinion, if you spend more than 4 days at my house, we live together. You may pay rent somewhere else, but if you're 4 days at my house, you living in my house. So I shouldn't have to tell you, dude, the cable bill needs to be paid, or I got a mortgage, or this you eat here, so why you don't want to put food in the fridge? Like certain things shouldn't have to be said, but I know stuff has to be done, so I'll do it anyway. I'm like, you know what? I can't depend on this person. Let me just do it.
That I agree. I completely and totally agree. But I don't know if maybe is it the way they were raised, or is it or is the way they're socialized? Like what is that? Or because with men or with I don't know with the culture, it's like unless you have specific titles, unless you have something that's in concrete, it's like they're not going to do certain things for you, or they don't feel like they should have to do certain things. I don't know.
And I told my son that. I said, if you spend, my girlfriend came from Virginia, spent 2 weeks in my house, put food in my house. I didn't tell her to put food in my house. Shawnee, she came, she put food in the house. I didn't have to tell her. Dude, I was dealing with. Can you buy groceries?
You out the garbage?
Can you buy groceries?
You clean out the tub?
I know you use the internet. So can you pay the cable? Like, she was only here 2 weeks and she put food in the house. She thought about, she was mindful enough to know, I'm here for 2 weeks. I'm using her stuff. Let me replace it. I'm sleeping with you. You don't think that you should put food in the house or pay the light bill or, give me money for the cable? Like,
see, I don't want to speak on behalf of men, but I don't know. It's like they. Okay, I guess I shouldn't. You know what I mean? I shouldn't even attempt
he needs to be mindful of these things.
Yeah.
If she's living with you or you living, I said, from that particular thing, I was like, stuff needs to be said. I guess you need to draw boundaries, come up with guidelines.
Like like my experience has always shown me like they have to deem whether you're worthy of that or not.
No,
and
it's, sometimes you're so self-sufficient that they're comfortable. They feel like you got it handled. You got this. And then you, like you said, that damsel in distress got to come in before you could get them to think like something needs to be fixed now.
I had a homie and my brethren, he told me this just the other day that he likes, I forget how he referred to it. He likes, a woman that, he says shows her vulnerability, that she doesn't know it all, that she doesn't need certain things, and that he can show her. Yeah. I said, that's a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to admit that was a damsel in distress. He was just like, no, she's just showing her vulnerability because these women are, these women nowadays, they don't want to be vulnerable. They just want to, be so independent. But if she says to me that she's unable and she's openly and she's okay with that, I said, that is a damsel in distress. That's just a new way to put it, and that's what you're looking for. And he's somebody who's very stable, financially, and and I said, you know what, you remind me of some other brothers that I know, and the brothers that have achieved a certain amount, they like those damsel in distress.
Maybe their moms or their sisters have done that, and that's what they're used to seeing, to know their cue. Like, that's what's going on. People don't know their cues.
That's a good word. The cue. They need a cue. They need a cue. They need a cue. That's I think that's it's very good that you put it that way, because they do. Because I've had, men say, I need you to stay on me for this. Like, and I'm like, I don't want to have to stay on you for that. You know what I mean? I want you to. It's like, dude, just be able to do it. He's just like, no. It's like, I don't have a problem giving it to you, but I need you to stay on me. Like, that's. But then I feel like I'm begging.
Put
Now I feel like
stickies on the fridge.
right. It's like now
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I want to get in a accomplish things of my own merit. You're supposed to know that I deserve this and just do it because I deserve it. You feel that I deserve it, and you remember that it needs to be done. If I have to stay on you about it,
Then there's a problem.
then there's a problem. And it's just like, but they don't see it that way. You know what I mean? It's just like, I want to do it for you, but I need that cue.
And this is how you turn around and end up doing it yourself. 'Cause it's like,
The training manual. The training manual.
I might as well do it myself. I'm like, come on, man.
but this is where we are. So now, do we give those cues? Do we stay on them, or do we just say fuck it, just do it ourselves?
I think we find somebody that communicate the way we communicate. It's just a communication block.
But and I hear that. However, if that's not the majority, where does that leave us? You know what I mean? Because if you can find someone who but men and women communicate completely and differently because we're conditioned and we're socialized to, and now we're in at a point where we're learning that we need that men.
I think you stay comfortable with who you are, because I'm so happy that I have all these sons, these 6 boys, because I see how they're interacting with girls, and and we see different personalities, and how they're compatible with each other. And the people who they get along with the most, they have a healthy family life. They have healthy relationships with their parents, with their aunts, and now there's a lot of transparency, and a lot of unapologetic, no sorriness. Nobody is going to be, creeping around them. They're like kind of boss in their life, where they are just doing their own business. They're promoting themselves, and that the guys, I'm calling them men. They're men. They're like 30 years old, 28, 27. They are more, they're vibing with them in a different way than with the men. Like in my generation, they're lost right now. Because they were so dependent on society to give them those cues and the validation that they're supposed to be getting, that they're like all over the place.
But and you're right about that. So now we're at a stage where everybody is relearning, how to be, and men and women are finding new ways to engage each other. So now we have to exercise patience until they get there, because we know that we have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do. So now we have to or do we have to exercise patience, or what are we going to do in the meantime?
Continue to take care of yourself. Healthy, because they learn from example. They learn the most from example. So you continue to feed yourself, nurture yourself, and you don't seek the validation outside of yourself. I think we have to validate ourselves first.
So let me ask this: do you feel safe, loved, accepted, and protected by our men? So in general. Do you in general, and in your personal life, if you comfortable sharing that, do you feel that way?
I do, because the people that I choose to be around with, they're very protective, and they will always let me know if anything, let me know. I'll be there, and I trust them to be there at that point. But and my sons are like that too. So yeah, I do feel very protective. Loved, I do feel very loved. And again, I get a lot from my family, more from my brother, my sons, again, my boyfriends. My boyfriend.
I ain't mad at you, girl. I ain't mad at you. Since we keep it real, we sharing our soul.
I get it.
And if there's a plural, there's a plural. Go ahead, girl.
I'm with one right now. We getting it together.
It is what it is.
Yeah, you know, when it's time for graduation, then I take off the S.
But you see, you've earned the right to be there. You know what I mean? You've earned that right. So
I feel very loved and very protected. Even though most of the time I'm like, I can do it on my own. I don't need you. I'm good.
mm-hmm.
Especially now that my son's away at school. You okay? You okay? I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good because I'm by myself 90% of the time. So
Mm-hmm.
you okay? You okay? You good? You need anything? You good?
But you know what? And I have to answer for myself. I do, because I'm surrounded, and I must say, by a collection of amazing Black men who look out for me, who take care of me, and when I see, a lot of women complaining that they don't feel protected, and I get it, and I understand it, and I don't dismiss that, because there are a lot of women who don't have certain things, and
Security is another question.
yeah, so
security, but protection, yeah.
yeah, and it's unfortunate when there's a lot of women who say that they don't feel protected, but just what was it, Friday, my brother,
That's sad.
my brethren, he was just like, oh, you're very privileged. He told me I was privileged, and he tells me that all the time, that I lead a charmed life and that I'm very privileged. Yeah.
But I am, because you privilege yourself.
But that's okay. But and I'm grateful, and that's the one thing, because and I'm not gonna deny that. I do acknowledge that I am, that I am privileged, that I am, but I'm grateful, and I'm grateful to be surrounded by amazing Black men who do love Black women, who do honor them, who do take care of them, who do protect them and go above and beyond for them. So yeah, I am, and I'm very grateful, and I don't diminish any other woman's experience who who feel that men aren't. And I do see it as it plays out on social media, which is another reason why I try to minimize my time on social media, because it's really unfortunate, the level of aggression and the things that that take place.
There is abuse happening. There is toxicity going on.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was saying security, I was talking about safety issues. Then a lot of people are kind of like taking big risks, taking chances, even if it comes to not, having protection when it's supposed to, even on my part, even on my behalf, if I trust somebody and I'm vibing with them, it's just me and that person in that world that day. You know what I'm saying?
No. Can you please? Can you
embellish?
Can you be a little bit more specific?
I'm committed to one person right now. So when we are together, we're not using
protection. Okay, I thought that's where you were going, but I want to be sure.
Yeah, you have like offers and things like that happening, and these people, they don't even consider it. You don't make the date because it's not as safe. But just have it in mind that if I was to choose to be with that person, it's like opening myself to a large amount of risk.
Right.
No.
But you know what? That's another thing. So when you're talking about safety and protection, it's also sexual safety and protection. And there's a lot of people that, I don't want to use the word reckless, but they're not as safe, and they're and
they have a death wish. It's not even about they don't value their lives enough. They don't have that. So
and
dealing with people that don't have a self-worth.
And you know what? I had made a post on Instagram the other day in regards to that. Like, we women, we have our bodies tell us when our man has
Yeah.
been out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
your pH balance will
Chemistry.
be, shifted.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, wait a minute. My pH balance is off. You haven't been where you were supposed to be. You've been elsewhere. And it's like we need to start really paying attention to those things where it's just like, where the man can tell you that, oh, well, it's just me and you, it's just me and you. But when your body is telling you that he has gone somewhere else, believe your body. You know what I mean? We have our intuition, we have our instincts, we have our bodies, and that's one of the amazing things about being a woman. And I want women to know that they have this power. And I want women to understand. It's like, regardless to what he's saying in your ear, your body will let you know.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
chemistry.
your spirit will guide you.
what,
Your
if you are,
intuition will tell
even
you.
when it comes down to
Believe it.
menstruation.
Yeah.
Because if you're home by yourself, you're not around other women, and you have a rhythm. Now this person comes in who has been exposed to other women, and you're and I'm not talking about us definitely because we're going through different stages, but in general, your person comes in and has been among different people. Your menstruation is not gonna come at the same time.
Yep.
It's gonna throw it off.
But you know what? A lot of women don't know that. They
Exactly.
don't know their bodies, and I
Yeah.
think that that's part of the training and the retraining that we all need to have, and we need to have these conversations to let. When you're thinking that all these things are just flukes and these things, it's like no. This is a message. This is telling you what's really
You
going
got
on
another
with
female
you.
in the atmosphere.
And then when you approach him and he thinks that you have no concrete evidence, and you're just like, no, I've been regular for the last 35 years, and all of a sudden now, like, that after that weekend in Cancun and Dior, you was in Dior with your homies for that weekend. Now all of a sudden my cycle is off. Like bruh, like what happened in Dior?
I'm not having a
Staying in
baby.
DR.
Somebody
It's not staying.
But we know.
Why am I lactating?
Yeah. But it's true, and we need
Chemistry.
right, and we need to let women know that it's okay to listen to your bodies, and it's okay to pay attention, because sometimes we like to make excuses, and we like to find
Be in
that
denial.
little right. We're in denial, and we like to make loopholes and grade these men on a curve, and it's just like no, trust your body, trust your intuition, and go with that. If you feel it, you know it, it is.
Yep.
And that, no. Exactly. Just say no. You know what I mean? When you know, it's just like that. It ain't right down there. You know what I mean? She's saying something different than she's normally saying. Like, you know what? You got to shut it down. You know what I mean? And it no longer has access. Because well, yeah, you know what I mean? Because so while while we're protecting our spirits and our energy, we're protecting our time. You got to protect down there too. You got to protect her too. You got to protect everything.
That's one thing good about this stuff, quarantine stuff, is separation. It definitely helps you to be more in tune with yourself and your body.
Right, because you're sitting still, so you're paying attention to things that you weren't paying attention to, and then you're also realizing what you can and cannot do without. You know what I mean? And things is like, yeah, I can do without that. I can, yeah. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's like, oh, when you thought that you couldn't live without certain things, it's like, yeah. When everything, and that's why when people were really think that 2020 was such a bad year, to me 22 has been an amazing year because it revealed and taught me so much. And it's like when you get down, when it's essentials only, and you see what really is essential from what isn't essential,
Sorry.
yeah, some people don't make the cut. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when 2021 rolls in,
Yeah.
certain people, they're not gonna make it into 2021 because they're not essential. So
That is so, that is so good. And it's true. They're not essential.
and there's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with
Non-factors.
right. And I think that's what everybody should be doing this year. They should be paying attention to the lessons and keeping their eyes and their ears and their heart open to all of the lessons that's being revealed to them. And you know what you need to do, and it's just a matter of whether you have the integrity to do it, because that's where integrity comes. Because you can know what to do, but integrity is what causes you to actually do it.
That's true. That is true.
So now,
This year definitely had was eye opening because of like if we the convenience that we had before, that we probably took for granted, medical, going to the doctor for every single thing, or to the store for every single thing. Every single thing changed in my whole life this year. It happened fast, and I had to make quick decisions.
Right,
What to do,
right.
what not to do.
right.
I'm like, if they're gonna kill me off, they ain't getting any rent from me until I know for sure I'm gonna be alive.
Wait, you withheld rent? Wait, how
They ain't getting shit. Until it's there, but we're gonna wait until y'all wanna finish playing this little game, and then you'll get it back. Because if
you know
if
what?
about to
The
kill me,
landlord in me,
the landlord ain't mad.
the
My
landlord in
ain't
me
mad.
is just like, wait a minute, why are you withholding rent? I don't get it.
No. They're being taken care of because they ain't jumping off no buildings. If I see them jumping off the buildings, then they're being taken care of.
But
we are not being taken care of.
Wait. Okay,
know
we
you're
we
like-
no we
you
no
see,
we
you're
about to
like-
digress.
She's a
Wait,
landlord.
because people act like landlords,
No,
aren't
I'm
struggling,
playing
and
with you.
landlords don't have their own issues.
No,
know?
I am in
Okay.
a subsidized. I'm in a subsidized situation, so I have certain things paid for. Blah blah blah. So I'm also being,
I hear you.
being a little, but I have not given them anything, and it won't be given until.
Wait, you still haven't paid rent?
Still haven't, but I haven't spent the money either. I make sure I keep it there.
Oh, my soul is crying right now.
No.
soul is crying.
They get a portion.
Uh-huh.
But I keep, because if I die, if something happens to me through this and I die, that money is going to my kids. I'm sorry. Y'all are all a part of this. You're different. You have a private residence. I'm talking about buildings.
Right.
I live in
right.
a housing place. I have a subsidy. It's totally different. Right now, like with the public assistance, welfare, blah, 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 I'm not getting that because I work most of the time. But I have a subsidy, like I said. So, what was I going to say? Okay, so it's what do I want to say? The thing that's up in the air right now is how everyone is going to be housed when this is all over. Because what they want to do is rehaul the whole system,
Oh.
They're going to change the housing. They're going to take people out, put people in, blah, blah, blah. We don't know. Me being in this system, I don't know if I'm going to be moved to another place. I don't want to wait for that. I'm moving before that happens.
And that's a whole nother level of vulnerability for women because now, with COVID and like you were talking also before about going to the doctor during this time. And we, as Black women, already have our issues when we go to the doctor and how we're seen and not seen. And, so we're vulnerable. That also, and that leads me into other places that I wanted to get to as far as our mental health, where we have, trauma and all kinds of things when we visit the doctor, because when we go, we're not believed about our levels of stress. And, they just diminish, our pain and our suffering and, our emotional health and issues. So now here we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and as Black women who, within the medicine world, we are at the bottom of the totem pole. How are we going?
we're the
How are
guinea
we
pigs.
surviving and getting through all of this?
Yeah. And we're doing it by what you said before, taking care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves, health wise, the food and learning our bodies and help, prevention is the best cure. Staying safe, not exposing yourself to people who don't care. If they're not gonna be protected, they don't care. We have to be like solid right now.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. We're not solid because it's this pandemic has been stressful. A lot of people have lost employment, and a lot of people, have been really, really struggling. And I must say, for me personally, I went into the pandemic unemployed. You know what I mean? From last August, I was
You were
not
fighting.
working
You were
for
in a fight though.
for a whole entire
You
year.
had like a double.
But
That's
I
tough.
feel that
Powerful.
we as Black women, we're taught to be okay when we're not okay. And so when we're in a pandemic, we already had that mindset that, okay, I need to do what I need to do to survive. So we're already trained to be like, all right,
Yes.
I'm about to be unemployed. I need to do X. I need
Yes.
to do Y. I need to do this. We're already battle trained.
yeah, and
We're
that's
battle-trained.
what I went when that happened. All my battle training, like
Admire
you
you so
said,
much for this.
that kicked in. That instinct kicked in, and it's just like, as women, that's what we're trained to do. Because I was just like, nah, I didn't know how long it was gonna last. I've seen people at my job go through arbitration, which I went through arbitration for 3 years, and I said, now I have to figure out how I'm gonna sustain myself, for any length of time. I wasn't sure how long all of this was gonna last. So, that fight kicked in. So yeah, so sometimes when we
Yeah.
say that, Black women, their masculine energy is too high, when they're too rah-rah, because this is what my union
but as far
president
as
said
that
to me, I'm
masculine
too rah-rah.
energy, where is
And
that, where is that masculine energy? Nobody's filling that gap right now because our masculine energies are in the feminine
We're
right
trained
now.
not to be depressed because we always
because we don't have time. And we have to be ready so we don't have to get ready. You know what I mean? So I stay
Always have to
ready.
be ready.
Yeah.
And I got my combat boots on because I'm always ready.
So
you
you
know?
can't
I'm
be
always
depressed.
ready.
You can't be depressed and show that side of you because you always have to be ready.
But and that's
Yeah.
the thing. So we can't be depressed, but we are depressed. And
Definitely.
we have a lot of anxiety, because I'm not gonna lie, I have anxiety and I suffer from panic attacks every once in a while. But I ain't had time for that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? I ain't
You
have
don't
time
have
for
time
that,
for
because panic what? When bills have to get paid?
Oh, it's
Mortgage
true.
still
Exactly.
due. Panic or what?
You gotta make sure everything is on point.
Yeah.
But you can't. It's like you can't slow down.
Yeah.
You can't catch your breath.
And there was
Right.
times when I wanted to check out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
you can't
Check
check
out
out
to what, right?
Check,
You
right.
start to
Check out
think,
where?
check out to what?
But you know
Nobody
what?
came back.
But it's like, okay, I'm grateful. I'm back at work now. After a year, I'm back at work. So now I'm about to now I can check out. So now I'm gonna, all my seniority, my vacation, everything got restored. So now I gotta use everything up before the end of the year. So I have 4 weeks of vacation that I have to use before the end of the year. So next week I'm on my staycation. I'm heading out I'm doing my spa days, you know what I mean? That, doing whatever. November I'm in Mexico. December I'm in Florida. I'm out. You know what I mean?
tell
It's
you,
like
I have to tell you.
because I have to take care of me now. You know what I mean? When I tell you I fought, and that's why they told me I was rah-rah. That's why they told me, and I'm sitting there with a super tell me I think I know it all or whatever, and it's like you
Yes,
don't
I
know
do.
you don't know who I
I
be.
have so much anxiety about traveling. I'm like, because my sister's like, we have to go somewhere. I was like, no, I can't. I have anxiety about COVID and I have anxiety about this election. So I'm like, I gotta wait till 2021 to focus.
I'm not gonna lie, I did have anxiety, but you know what? The stress superseded that, and because I need to get away, it's just like that superseded all of the. I will just. You have to wear your mask. You have to wear your protection, and that's it. But I'm going, and I'm going to do, and I'm going to be on,
You're gonna
and that's right. And I'm going to do my spa days, and that's exactly because that's how I build my vacation around spas. Next week when I'm on Long Island, it's at a spa resort,
That's so cool.
Mexico spa resort,
I'm fortunate.
Florida
My
spa.
vacation,
That's
my
it.
vacation
That's
time
it.
just rolls
That's
over,
it.
so
That's
it will just
beautiful.
keep building.
Well, they only
till
gave us 1 week because for
It'll just roll
COVID,
over.
they said you can only roll over 1 week worth of vacation.
So
Roll
glad you
over
brought
what?
it back.
For?
And
Let
you
me
need
think.
it. This time is perfect.
Huh?
This time is perfect.
Because
Especially
flights is
because
cheap.
basically the whole market is asleep, right? It's
Right,
gone
right,
into
right.
hibernation right now.
You know, everything is cheap. But I mean, even though I use my miles and my points and stuff like that, so I ain't pay for nothing, which is how I usually travel anyway. I don't pay for shit. But you know what I mean. So now, this is what I'm doing, and no one can't tell because, like I said, when I tell you, I fought and I fought and I fought.
Yeah.
When people were telling me, oh, well, you don't think you should go look for another job. That's the responsible thing to do because, you have bills. You should go look. After I put in 22 years in that place, and this man who was only here for 7 years want to come and take my career from me, no, I'm not going nowhere to start over at no $15 an hour. We fighting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and the fight still
They have
continues.
definitely dropped the salaries or whatever they're trying
Yeah,
to pay.
I'm
And
not.
I do
I'm not
consulting.
no,
All the rates are low.
no.
I'm like, how am I gonna go for that job? And you see what I got on my last assignment. You can't go down.
And literally, my body feels like I was run over by a truck because it's like the amount of, like I said, is physical stress, mental and emotional stress that and the toll that took place because you don't know. And then there was, a lot of fear, and that's a lot. And I don't like to operate in fear, and I don't like to maneuver in fear because when you maneuver in fear, then you start to invite a desperate energy. And when you dealing with that desperate energy, you make bad choices because you're desperate. So I tried not to be fearful. So there was a lot of times when you just have to meditate and you have to just, so you're not operating, from a place of fear and the place of anger.
Hostility.
Yeah. And I'm not angry because now that I'm back at work, they put us back under the same supervisor who did all of this. And you know what? I'm going to be graceful and I'm going to conduct myself with grace and I'm going to conduct myself with a smile, because you're not going to take me out of character. You're not going to take me and make me become something that I'm not. And I'm always going to be graceful and I'm always going to be calm and peaceful. And that's where I am right now.
I had a situation where I felt not protected. Just now happened because I'm working with my boyfriend and another person with partners in a job, and it just at that point, the person we just got to deal with having an office at a law firm. The person that runs this law office, they're gonna rent part of their office for our business, but this person came across very disrespectfully towards not only me personally, but me and the partner, and the attitude was kind of like very dismissive, I can assume that it's whatever he heard about before that he feels he can do that, or he doesn't really understand. He doesn't know us to know who he's dealing with, but he obviously thinks these are people begging for something. And I'm not trying to come across with a chip on my shoulder. I always have to deal with that because usually if I go for a job, I'm overqualified. So that dumbed down thing used to happen when I was going for work. So now I started my own business. So that's what I'm trying to build now. So we go to the office. I mean, we're supposed to be going to the office, and this man is like, nobody called me all day. This deal is dead. But the way he did it was just totally rude and dismissive. And I kind of like lost it where I was cursed. I was like screaming at my boyfriend for not like standing up. Like, you shouldn't let somebody talk to about us. You're supposed to be protecting your team. You know, don't let anybody degrade us. You know, because then I went off with I was so on fire that 2 days ago I can't even.
You know, and I find that we as women, we're always the bulldogs, or and we're like the mama bears, and we're gonna and I was having a conversation about the election, and I was having a conversation about the elections, and I really don't want to get too political, but and I was saying that, you know, my thing is like, you know, Kamala, I'm a black woman. You know what I mean?
She's not black though. She does not identify.
Why? You really just said
she
that?
does not identify with black. Just for this election, yes, she is.
But wait. She went to Howard.
Today she's doing it.
She went to Howard. She pledged. She pledged a black sorority. How do you mean she doesn't identify?
That's when you know what it is? When you have the privilege where you could choose either way. She took advantage of what she could take advantage of. She was able to be black when it's
most people.
for her.
But you know what? That's good.
That is
everybody. That is everybody. So why are we condemning her for
I'm
that?
not condemning.
But you're not the only one who said that.
Yeah.
But she's doing what everybody else does, and this is the same conversation that I've had with people. So I don't want, it's like
don't
people
tell me vote for her because she's black, because that's
no,
not
I'm not. What I'm
tell
saying
me to vote for her because she has these qualities that are, you know, that
I'm saying that as a woman of color. So let's not use black. A woman of color, okay, because her father's Jamaican and her mother's Indian, so she's a woman of color. As a woman of color, who do you think is going to women of color?
Her father's Jamaican is an Indian. He is totally racist. Come on, they have racist.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Indians don't consider themselves
black.
You're
There's a totally different. It's sad, but I feel it. I feel the connection. I don't want to not distrust her, but it's reality. Like I get that nuance, but the point that I'm trying to make is when it comes to what's needed to correct the state that we are in now, the future of the world, the future of everything is feminine. Okay, the men. This is what 2020 has all been about. The men have fucked shit up, and we on reset now. So whether she black, Indian, white, or whatever, okay, a woman have to come in and clean up, come with your broom, and sweep up and clean up everything behind these men who come and fuck shit up, and she know exactly what she has to do. Okay, and she plays the role she has to do, and people need to understand that the future of the world is feminine. We went through everything. We seeing now the Me Too movement, everything. We are aligning. We're getting information for everything because it's time for us to step up. Don't get caught up in all of that bullshit about who black and who ain't black. Fuck all the bullshit. I want to know who's
the
taking
future
care about issues. I don't trust.
Taking care of issues. We too stuck on that. It ain't gonna come the way we think it's gonna come, and we think
all right, that's okay.
We saw what Ice Cube tried to do and everything like that. It ain't gonna come the way we think it's gonna come.
I appreciate.
So you have to.
I'm proud of Ice Cube and I'm proud of P Diddy. I'm proud of them for like coming out with something. At least they wrote something down.
Let me tell you something. And this may sound fucked up, and I'm putting this out there, but I had, like I said, me and my brethren, we had this conversation all the time. When it comes to dudes and black, I don't trust them to handle nothing when it comes to our affairs and business and money and shit like that, because they don't know money, they don't know finance, they don't know money management and stuff. That's us. Okay, we have to come in and we have to handle that because brothers, we on some scheming, scamming, and all kind of other fuckery. You understand what I'm saying? So,
But the whole thing
that's
is
okay, and it
Kamala.
was noble, and I get it. But on some
Okay.
real deep down level, when it comes down to my finances and money making decision,
You're gonna give it to the Vatican.
I'm going to give it to the woman. That's what I'm
She's
not.
working with
I'm
she's
not
working
doing.
with the
No,
Vatican.
sorry.
She's the Vatican. She's working with her husband, Vatican, those judges. We're not getting the best of any worlds with either party. That's how I feel.
Oh, never. You will never get the no.
Exactly. But at the
And
end,
you
like
believe that the feminine, I mean, he did give her I mean, she has outperformed Biden in those debates. She's showing herself to be a good representative, or somebody that could take the front because the lead, or take the wheel, because Biden definitely doesn't have that energy, and her energy surpasses his as far as just presenting herself, answering questions, and just playing poker with the guys. She could do that. I admire that about her. She can play with the guys and they can respect her in that way. You know. I'm just it's just up in the I want to write in a vote. So would you like to run for president? I'll vote for you.
all I'm saying is we need new energy. We
Yeah.
need fresh something,
Yeah.
and that is with the feminine energy. And I don't care. People could be all up in their feelings about all kind of nuances and everything else like that and details, but we can't go back to the okey doke, and 2020 has shown us that we can't go back to the okey doke, and the future of the world is feminine. Okay? And I promise you, ride with the woman no matter what she looks like, what she identifies as. Because even if it was a transgender, and I'm going to say it, we're going to ride with the feminine energy and the feminine aspect because the masculine has not done it for us, and everybody need to get over it. Everybody need to get out their feelings about all that other stuff, because getting caught up in those conversations about all those other hasn't helped us, hasn't done anything.
I think
It's-
nobody's really talking about those things, which should be dealt with, because when we talk about HBCU, what do they call it? What do they call it?
the HBCU
HBCU.
college,
When
yeah.
we talk about that, it's only a small percentage of our community that are even going to HBCU. So I love it that we could do that rah with them. But they are, as far as being representative and represented for they could, but they're a little out of touch with 80% of the Black community. They're like 15%. So if you put a certain money into the HBCU, you're still neglecting 75-80% of the rest of the Black community. Just like the housing I was talking to you, I wanted to bring it up to you that the reason why I said I'm holding, they stopped, not that they stopped the subsidy, but they changed the program and they didn't notify me about it. So basically, if I'm giving them money, where is this money really going? Like I go to the place and everything is being delayed. So basically, I'm just waiting till I know who I'm putting my money, whose hands go, who's taking the money or whatever. They'll deal with their repairs. They keep up with the apartment very well. It's a beautiful place, but I just have to, like you said, you have to be smart. A lot of people have been doing this, and then they still get thrown out of their buildings. You can't allow that to happen. So I have to keep what I have until everything is decided. Like, what are they going to do with the corporations? Or they're not going to let people back into the buildings for work. They save too much money, and they made too much money with people being at home. And so that's not going to happen.
But yeah, they want to bring people back into the buildings because they're paying rent. A lot of these companies are paying rent for these buildings, so they're trying to bring people back in. And that was another fight that I had to fight too, because I'm like, I have
changing the
immunocompromised
buildings.
people in my household,
Yeah.
and I have elderly people in my household. I don't want to work on site because I have to now take the train, expose myself, and that was a huge battle, because now they were telling me that, oh, that's a condition of your return to work, you have to be on the premise. I said, where? I have the 22-page verdict, and there's nowhere stipulated in that 22 pages that says I have to work on site. You
Fantastic.
provide and you show
They're
me
going to change a lot of
that-
the buildings. They're getting
No.
retrofitted a lot. Biden is paying for a lot of everything is going to be retrofitted. They've been asking for capital funds for years now. From Trump, they've been asked, like, for the funding that I do the proposals. They've been offering money for capital projects, for building, to adding on to buildings. They only want to retrofit every existing building right now and change it. If we go Biden, it's to make it green. If it's Trump, it's to make it, space, like lessen the space for housing, widen the space for whoever has the money to pay for the grandeur,
and
grandiose.
You know what? And my spirit tells me Trump is going to win again. And you want to know why?
There's gonna be a fight.
No.
Because of the market?
Not because of the market.
The electoral colleges.
No, because my spirit tells me that because there's a lot of people who are going to vote for Trump that we don't think. 13% of black men voted for Trump in 2016. I promise you that'll double. You want to know why? Because a lot of brothers is making more money now, because Trump era is reminiscent of the Reagan era. And brothers was making, not legally, they were making money hand over fist. And the same thing, so there's a lot of brothers who's riding with Trump because they making money now that they wasn't making before. And I promise you, if you 13% was in 2016, at minimum it's going to double. Trump is going to win, and you're going to see it's going to come from brothers.
If we think outside
mark
of
my
the
words.
box, if
Mark
we
my
think
words.
outside of the box and think that overall we're trying to match China, we're trying to match India, the amount of money that they've grown to. We're trying to match a billionaire every 3 days, like in China. We're so not that, and that's what's Trump. Trump is the one who could do that. But for Biden's plan, it will take a little more time to execute. Years and years past till after he's out of office to execute the whole.
But people like fast money. People like fast shit. People don't want to wait. They don't have no patience. You know what I mean? They don't trust the process, and that's what it is. And because of that, that's where Trump is, and Trump is going to because people.
I'm not voting for either one of them. I am not, but I do.
I get it, and I understand.
I know that Trump will win. Is even when I say that, that's knowing that's also allowing him to win. But
all those people that'll vote independent and all these not independent, the other parties that no one's ever heard of, no one's ever heard of these other people, is allowing him to win.
This is they did this,
and and the thing about it is, because we're already in what looks like the Reagan era. I mean, we're all old enough to know and remember what the Reagan era looks like. A lot of these younger people may not know, but we remember what the city looks like, and it's starting to look familiar. It's looking real familiar.
Trump wants to get rid of public assistance. He wants to get rid. So right now, everybody's on their ball. Like, everybody's on their hustle. So, and we're not going back because it's gonna be not available to go back to. So if we started that right now, we have to be with who can get the hustle as a collective.
But everybody's hustle doesn't look the same way.
I know,
You
but
know,
as
everybody
it's a
supposed to look the
collective,
same way.
America's face of that hustle or being that pirate or whatever it is that he likes to push forward. You know, that unapologetic, that fearless attitude. That if you have a brand, you know, you stick to that. You don't, you know, fall. You don't hesitate. You keep going. You keep going. You keep going. No matter what. I watched Apprentice so much, and I don't like.
Why? I don't even.
I used to love Apprentice.
Why?
I used to love
Why?
Apprentice because what he did was real. What he did was how I experienced working, like when I was working.
And that's
I
the
saw
thing.
which,
There's
what was,
so many people who look up to Trump.
no, I
and
don't look up. I don't like him.
You
I
know,
can't
like
stand
but
him. If
you
I had any
now
feelings
a
with
lot
him.
of people since his presidency now they're saying they can't stand it.
Never
But
liked him.
Trump was always a symbol of
big-
success
yes, he
and
was
money.
big
That this
business.
is why rappers reference him in
Despite
all
all of
kind of
his
music
bankruptcies
and everything.
and his
Dance
failures.
hall
Symbol of
artists,
big
you know,
business.
pose up in pictures with him because people look up to Trump
That
as a
status
symbol.
like,
Right.
Just like what you were saying
Exactly.
before, status.
Exactly. You know, but and that's the thing. So that's why I say he's gonna win again. And then just like with the 2016 election, a
But
lot
he
of the
just-
people that
he's-
we know who voted for Trump, they're gonna be real silent. Just pay attention to who real silent because then you'll know which one of your friends voted for Trump. And there's a lot of people.
I know a lot of people surprised me when I saw that they were Trump supporters, and I was like,
Okay. Okay.
do you understand?
It's very scary.
He
right now.
doesn't like immigrants. You're an immigrant.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're an immigrant.
You were talking about her being Jamaican, and honestly, I brought it up before about what the government is accustomed to using Jamaicans in particular for,
Of course. Of course.
and being that they are the police, the unofficial police, that the go-to to police black people. It's like what they did when they created Liberia. I learned this. They used the Pan-African movement to create Liberia. They used all the Marcus Garvey people, to all of the Jamaicans, to police every black person, no matter where they're from, Africa, America, wherever they're from. Took them and created a country despite the borders, despite the nations that existed there already. And they created Liberia. They created Ghana. They created Sierra Leone. This is from other colonialists. Sierra Leone, Senegal. These places. We're very out of touch. We're very out of touch with who is really for us as a community. And I'm saying that with heritage.
But we know that at the end of the day, our community, and there's many different communities because we all have different needs. There isn't any one particular person who can satisfy all of our needs because we all have different
we have to
needs.
satisfy our own.
Exactly, we all have very different needs. However, like I said, we still need fresh energy and we still need a whole different vibe. And I said that's the feminine energy. So everybody's getting caught up in the racial, everybody's getting caught up in the ethnic aspect of it. It's not really about that. It's the feminine energy.
But how about the complacency? Like the Democratic Party in general has been this slow moving.
But that's not her fault. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I'm not.
That's not her fault.
blaming her
That's
for
not
that.
her fault.
No, I would not blame her for that. It's just the Democratic Party has been this, slow moving bus. Has been that yellow bus that we keep trusting. But I'm not. I love.
But in this, I'm not trusting the Democratic Party.
There's no trust,
I'm not
really.
trusting
It's
the
just-
Democratic Party. I'm trusting feminine energy. Did you see what I'm saying? That's what
Okay.
that's what I'm betting on. I'm not betting on the Democrats. I'm betting on feminine energy. That's how I'm seeing it. And it's not a party thing. It's not a racial thing. It's a feminine thing because we need the feminine energy. All of this other stuff, the masculine energy that we've had throughout the years, whether it identifies as Democrat, Republican, black, white has failed. We had black, we had Democrats, we had Republicans, we had masculine, all of that stuff failed us. Let's try feminine energy. Doesn't matter what package it comes in. Doesn't matter the rapper. Let's try some feminine energy. How about that?
Something to keep, because she has the personality to keep people in line.
Yeah, exactly.
She has
Exactly.
that personality.
And that's all
I
I'm
respect
saying.
that,
So now we're talking, even though we're talking elections, everybody likes, no, I'm not talking party. I'm not talking about any of that. Feminine energy. That's it. That's it. That's it.
You're gonna get that, but you're gonna get the you're being sexist.
But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
The system is already
It's okay.
sexist. So
Exactly. It's okay.
It's already fine.
They can say that, but like I said, we've trusted for how many presidencies and how many things, and even though she's not running for president, she's just vice president, this is a step in the right direction.
Exactly.
However, we need
Feminine.
feminine energy.
love
We've
what she
trusted,
said.
we've
I love
entrusted
her.
them, we've entrusted men since the beginning in all packages. We've had a black president, Democrat or whatever. I don't need to see a black Republican. I don't need to see that. What I want to see is some feminine energy. I'm
I
riding
think Trump
with the feminine
surrounds
energy
himself with a lot of feminine energy.
because he's grabbing them by the pussy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's it. No, he does surround himself with a lot of feminine energy. A lot of the women around him are the ones that are saying a lot.
Like
I like his debate just now, his little townhouse thing. The lady that was
that wasn't even a debate.
that was crazy.
That wasn't a debate. I'm like,
But look at the people who he allows in his space, like people who are outspoken, people who are confident.
you know what? I don't care about Trump because you know what? Trump, he knows how to fucking play the game.
Yes,
This is
yes.
how he freaking get Kanye.
You're like, I don't
This
care
is how
about-
he told Ice Cube, yes, I'm gonna do whatever you want.
Two
He
pages.
Right. He knows how to reel these motherfuckers in. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like he'll tell you what he's a typical man. He'll tell you what the fuck you want to hear for the time being
Yeah,
and
he
give
will.
you just enough
You're not supposed to
keep
trust.
you
There's
hanging
no trust.
on.
There's no-
And it's just like,
there's no trust
you
in
know,
this whole game.
and it's like, and
you're not
mofos keep
supposed to
falling,
trust
and mofos
anybody.
keep falling, and why
not supposed to trust
why are we
anybody.
falling for it? You know, Trump is going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. He's
I
a
don't
typical dude.
No,
Okay, he's
I
gonna
do not listen
just
to
enough
what this
to keep
man
you hanging
says.
on, and then it's gonna be like, I'm not.
I don't
I'm
listen to
I'm
what this
about
man
to.
says.
I'm getting
Wait
ready
for it.
to.
Wait
for it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the when you give the honey, can you do this, and it's like, and it's sitting there for years. It's like, no, I was just about to, and I'm getting ready to, and it keeps going, and they keep
And I
giving
did
you
it.
that.
Did you
That's
see it?
Trump.
I did it. Didn't you see it?
Yeah.
No. Who bothers me about Trump is Pence, and I know Pence is very much in behind a lot of what he says and a lot of what he coaches. Pence is who I definitely do not like and do not want to see. I'd rather see my what's her name? I'd rather see her in Harris. What's her name?
Kamala.
Kamala. I'd rather see her than Pence.
Of course.
Definitely.
Of course.
And I
And-
want to see somebody else. I just wish there were other people to
But there isn't.
Yeah.
So we dealing with what we have, and there is no. I wish there was. We ain't got
Yeah.
time for that. We passed that. Election is and how many
2
weeks?
weeks?
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
We ain't got time for that.
Yeah,
Let's.
no, I'm
you
going.
know,
I'm going.
Yeah,
Let's see
you know.
what other hijinks is gonna be pulled. He
You
already
know?
proved COVID being a. He already proved that
Meanwhile,
certain people were poisoned.
And meanwhile,
He already
our
proved it.
brothers was the ones who was disproportionately affected by
He already
COVID,
proved
dying,
certain people were
and
poisoned.
because our brothers, we know their health is,
Yeah.
not at their
Not
best,
phenomenal.
and they have an
That's
issue,
that's
and that's a
beautiful thing.
distrust that they
Yeah.
have with the system, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So COVID affected them, and they knew that that's what it's gonna be, and the system is killing off our brothers
That's a beautiful
in different
what you just said, because
ways.
Kamala was like, I'm not gonna take Trump's. I'm not
I
gonna take
wouldn't take
Trump's
it either.
vaccination. I like that. I like that she
It
said
takes
that.
at least
She was
10
like, "Don't."
years to get
I'm
a
not
proper
taking that.
result from vaccinations.
Exactly.
At least 10 years.
Exactly.
You want to give it to me in less than 1 year? Hell no.
So
I'm
for
not,
that, I would definitely.
my child is not taking it. I'm not taking it. I don't care.
Exactly.
You can't make me.
So we will stick to our turmeric tea. Our
Exactly.
turmeric tea with some ginger and some garlic and all them things. We will stick to
Some
that.
bush tea and
There you go.
some
Okay,
bush
there you go.
I was so sick the other day, and then I had and I still didn't get my Irish moss. The man is supposed to be bringing. That's why I'm doing like this. He might be coming. I'm not sure if he's gonna make it. But that sea moss is everything. Pain, everything. It just balances out all the hormones, balances out the digestive system, takes away the inflammation. So in that sense, I support your feminine energy vote, because she would understand that as a Jamaican. She would understand.
And as an Indian too, as an
homeopathy.
Indian too, you understand?
Yes.
Exactly. And
would
and
understand
as a
that.
woman and as a healer, you understand what I'm saying? She would know that fuck Trump and his blasted whatever he wants, his vaccination and thing like that, after he done
And
denounced
you
the
see what he
whole
did?
COVID to begin with.
Exactly.
He did whatever he did, but then other people got sick with the
including
trials.
himself. He got sick too. Trump
No,
got sick.
after the trials. I mean, he did his remdesivir or whatever he did, but people who were testing, doing the guinea pigs, they got sick and they had to pull back. So was he really taking the remdesivir?
And there you go. But that's what I'm saying. So
Like,
now
was
we
he
need
really sick? Because
Was he?
everybody I know that had COVID was not cured in 3 days. Was not. The virus does not work.
He didn't.
Like that.
He didn't look well
3
when he
days.
was at that. He was a
3
mess.
days. No.
Yeah, I know. And then for him to be saying within 2 weeks still, for him to be saying, I'm fine. No, you can't say you're fine. 2 weeks didn't even pass yet.
3 days, you
Guy,
fine?
it's your standards we're going by. I mean, it's the CDC. I don't trust the CDC. They did the syphilis treatment thing. They did that. I'm not with the CDC, but yeah.
But we have to look out for us when it comes, because we know that with the history of this country and medicine and that it's only we have to look out for ourselves.
Eugenics. We have to just be real with that. It's eugenics. I teach my kids, if I'm not here, you're gonna have to do this and that. That's what we have to be doing now.
So who do you think is going to be best suited to look over the health of us as a community, if not a woman of color? Okay? It's in the middle of a pandemic. When it comes, we have to pay attention to our health. Men don't pay attention to their health, and I understand why, because of the history of their country.
We're fine.
We as women, who besides a woman of color is going to pay attention? So when we sit up here and talk about we have our issues with Ms. Harris, and I get it, but let's really look at things. A woman of color is going to be the
But she got
one
the
who is
HBCU.
going to be who's going to look over for your health.
She got her
Because-
sororities behind her. I love that.
No, it's not
They're
the
not gonna let her
sororities.
fail.
Ladies, Angie, Stephanie, every relationship that you had, were you the ones who had to get on these men about their health and
Yes.
about going to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because if not,
Good point. Good
okay.
Even
And that's
when
what I'm
we're
saying.
not feeling well, we're up taking care of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's true.
So, in the middle of a global pandemic, when it comes to our interest, when it comes to health, who do you trust?
Even if it's
I
to
definitely don't.
heal through
Who do
this
you trust?
transition of
Who do you
the
trust?
whole. May I have this again? Even if it's to heal through this transition of the stress the psychological, the PTSD, getting us over that. Trump is definitely not helping this PTSD.
Exactly. Trump is
Nah.
giving us.
PTSD.
Okay, he's causing us trauma.
harbinger.
He's traumatizing us. Trump is traumatizing us.
PTSD.
But you know what? There's a lot of people who's not gonna realize that. Who's gonna think, like I said, because Trump,
Because their money is up.
right. Their money is up right now.
3 times, 4 times.
Yeah,
5
their
times
money is up right now, so they don't have an issue with Trump because their money is up.
Talk about our money is up because our money still ain't been up since March. So our money
telling
still
you,
ain't been up.
Ask
Since
the
March.
scammers is they really thriving right now.
Yeah.
Scammers is thriving right
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Yeah, bootleg aguan.
Yeah, scammers is thriving. So like I said,
Bandola thing.
exactly. And some of us, there's a segment of us that love a bandulu.
The Russians
There's
give you
some of
this
us
one.
that love a piece of scamming. Okay.
Sprint. I don't know about Sprint, man. I'm questioning you with these refurbished phones and
So now,
refurbished.
when I tell you, I see Trump winning. I'm not voting for Trump, and I don't have a problem saying that. I don't know if I can say that,
I'm
publicly,
not
but
voting.
I still see Trump winning because, like I said, I just see that there's a lot of people who are thriving in these circumstances, and it's going to catapult us back to the Reagan era,
Well,
and we already saw this summer with the level of crime, and we saw what the hood looked like.
Boy, this
The
reminds me
hood.
of the 90s.
Not what are you talking about?
It
The
was-
90s. This look like this look like the
It
80s. This
was.
look,
I was
man.
like,
This
wow,
summer,
all we missing is graffiti
this summer
on the
looked
train.
like
I
the
was
summer
like,
of
this is the
87. Okay, well, like
Wow. My friend died 2 years ago. She had a brain aneurysm, and her daughter, who she was so close to, 22 years old, just got killed. You know, I don't want to say it's something that is gone to a petty thing over somebody. This is not over a man or whatever. This is and I saw that little girl. I saw that young girl as being such a rest in peace. I don't even want to disrespect her memory because this girl, she was like a genius. Number one, very smart. Her mother was very smart too. She took care of her sisters in the wake of her mother's transition. She just had a baby, 7 weeks old. And it's like heartbreaking to hear that this girl was taken. She's in Gwinnett County in Georgia. It's like one thing after the next this year.
yeah.
Just
I
one
mean,
thing
I
after
lost a couple of family members as well. Through violence and
just the mental difference, the mental shift, the mental breakdown. Everybody is not handling it.
yeah, and
It's like the 80s. It's just missing the graffiti. And when I passed by, because I hadn't been
it's missing the
I haven't been by City Hall in about a year, and I drove past there, and I was like, it reminded me. You remember the movie Escape from New York?
No.
You never saw Escape from the movie?
No, I never
That
saw
came out
that.
in the late
I did.
70s. The place was filled like New York was completely. It was like a post-apocalyptic type movie.
Okay.
But it was filled with graffiti. And I was like, that was City Hall. Just graffiti everywhere. And I was
A
like,
City Hall right now? Graffiti right now?
yeah, unless it changed when it was Occupy City Hall. Like,
This
It looked
it's
like
during the Black Lives Matter movement.
yeah, it
and
looked like
okay.
Hoboland. Yeah, it looked like Hoboland.
Oh wow.
They had tents pitched up there. They had graffiti all over the courts.
Yeah.
They had graffiti all over City Hall. I was like, where are we? I was like, how do we stoop? How do we reach to this level of
Trump.
exactly?
Trump.
I'm like, how do we get here?
There is a war
Because
happening.
Trump is Trump era is Reagan era, and I don't understand because we also know, being part of the Caribbean community, a lot of people got dipped during that era too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna be, people are gonna make money, but they also want to get dipped too. They're gonna get dipped.
Trump. You know why? The Democratic Party, they're wanting to extend the stay-at-home thing.
No, Trump made it okay to be racist. He made it
That
okay to be openly racist.
I think he just made it. I think I can't. I'm not gonna say that. I think that other groups took advantage of that and exploited that and blew it up more than what is actually happening.
All I'm saying is,
We need
if
to
you have
change.
people who papers is not straight, okay, in 2020, watch for your people who papers is not straight, because I tell people, when in 2016, when he had his, right before his inauguration, and I told people, and I even said this in one of the forums in the sound class, and I told people, watch the prison stock. I promise you, the prison stock is going to catapult. And people didn't believe it. And right after his inauguration, the prison stock, and the only reason why I didn't invest in prison stock right before the inauguration is because I have a black man and I have a black son, and for me to invest in prison stock would be investing in their demise, and my integrity won't allow me to do that. So now, like I tell people, you have to pay attention to what's really and truly happening, and people, they may be making money right now, but it's not gonna last.
And that making money is just not enough.
And it's gonna be fast money. Like I said, it's reminiscent of the Reagan era. It's gonna be fast money. You're gonna see people get dipped real fast, and you're gonna see the people who, even if they're legal and they making a little bit of money, they going to be doing just like back in Reagan era, football numbers in those prisons, real. For minor offenses, they're gonna be doing football numbers. So now, pick your poison.
I think that's changing because remember that they're making the prisons, they're opening up the walls of the prisons. They're bringing it out into society more, where they're getting paid more for releasing prisoners because the landlords are making that 4 times a rent to house a prison. So the prisons, they're just changing how they're not going to be these buildings. They're going to be in projects. The prisoners will be in projects or private homes, or people who are going to rent to through the subsidy program, the 4 times amount of rent. So prison stocks will go up, but the prisons itself wouldn't be this.
They already went up.
They won't be this. It'll be like this house arrest type of thing going on.
But remember, that's why this summer looked the way that it did, because of jail reform and bail reform, because everybody wanted the bail reform. So now they released all of these criminals on this new bail reform policy that they wanted, because I guess Kim Kardashian and her husband Kanye sit down with Trump, and they did this whole bail reform that everybody thought was So now you got a whole bunch of criminals out the road.
They were just the face
murdering
of it.
people.
They didn't make it happen.
No,
they were just the face of it.
And now you have all these criminals out the road, killing up people and now people, oh my God, all these things and crime and this look like I don't know what, but y'all wanted bail reform. And this is the issue that people have with Kamala Harris. And like I said, I had this conversation with one of my homies, and he's like, oh, she sent all of these black men to prison and blah, 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 blah. I said, y'all act like some of these black men is fucking guilty as fuck. Okay? Let's be real about it. Some of these, it's not like they're not guilty. Some of these as guilty as fuck.
Like you said about the extraneous sentencing, that's definitely ridiculous. It's definitely a discrepancy in
there is a discrepancy, but she doesn't make the sentencing. You understand what I'm saying? She doesn't. She didn't determine that. You understand what I'm saying? So she just did her job. She doesn't determine the length. That's on the
It's
judge.
true. It's true
That's
what you
on
said
the
just now.
that's on
She
the
did her
system.
job, period.
Right. She did her job. Period. She doesn't determine the length of sentencing. That's on the judge and everything else like that. She did what she had to do as a prosecutor, and that's what it was. But like I said, some of these motherfuckers is guilty as fuck, and we got to sit up here and we have to actually be real and hold these dudes, these criminals that's out the road terrorizing
Well, this
these
is definitely
hoods.
the year of accountability, right? And
No,
we
it
have
is.
to-
It is. Well, we've been in the era of accountability for probably like the last 2 or 3 years, and I've been talking about that for the last 2 or 3 years, building up to this is the crescendo right now. 2020 is the crescendo. That's why it's the see the hashtag 2020 vision. So now from about 2018, I think it was, is when I started discussing we're in the era of accountability and authenticity, and now everything is leading up to that. So now, and we're seeing it, and we're seeing it now. So now, people can get mad at Kamala Harris all she wants to, but everybody's hands is not clean.
No,
You know what I mean?
no.
And
Nobody's
yes,
hands
we're
clean,
not
period.
disputing
Everyone is
that
complicit.
there is a discrepancy in the level of sentencing, but that's a next issue. That's a totally different issue.
That's not her issue.
Right. That's not her issue. That's a totally different issue. So that needs to be addressed. Now, how that's going to be addressed, I don't know, because she's not a lawmaker, she's a law enforcer. So now we'll see. So when she'll be in a position, but like I said, at the end of the day, I'm still riding with the feminine energy. Like I said, I'm riding with the. It ain't about race. It ain't about ethnicity. It ain't about identity and how she identifies.
Right.
I'm riding with the feminine energy, and I'm gonna say it again, even if it was a transgender. I am riding with the feminine energy.
I wanna do the things that I really look at are, I look at things in a very,
There we go with
can
the
have to
loud
take it the
ass,
next time.
aggressive, obnoxious.
That masculine energy.
The masculine energy, because he turned the alarm onto masculine. That's what it is. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, okay.
It's okay.
We'll do this next
It's okay. It's aggressive. And it's annoying.
Okay,
And
Trump.
it's obnoxious. But it's okay. Anyway, so I'm wrapping up the show. And thank you, ladies, for what was that? You clearing your throat? No, y'all have been really loud throughout this whole entire show, and I really didn't, and I really tried not to say. Well, anyway, so thank you, ladies, for this amazing show. We was all over the place, and we covered a lot of ground, and this was a really, really great show.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all were great.
You all are great.
No, you great.
We are great.
Yeah, we are. We are amazing women. Okay, because that feminine energy will do it every single time. I'm Sesheta Khepra. This is Anjy. This is Stephanie for SoulShare, and we are out. Deuces.